Welcome back to the Daily Crypto Market Update. You guys, I'm seriously trying my hardest to find any little scrap of news to find a reason why the alt market, everything except Bitcoin, was red on yesterday's close, and Bitcoin closing up 1.19% above the cloud, back to being strong bullish. Everything else, though, looked awful, literally. Now, I'm still paying attention to this. The positive news about this move yesterday, closing up, is on the 4-hour time frame. We can clearly see that BTC closed above this support level, which was previously broken, and now it's above, which is a positive sign. This is great news because we have day one done. Now, the next thing that's going to happen that Bitcoin has to do in order to remain bullish, which I am not expecting, even though it says bull flag, I am not expecting it. But the next thing is it's going to test overhead resistance, which if it happens today, it's going to be $109,000, which is a tall order considering the fact that we have a high here just a couple of days ago at $108,952. So I have a sneaking suspicion that BTC could go up that high again, but it does have clear overhead resistance at about $109,000. Now, if this bull flag is correct, what will happen is that there's going to be a lot of downward pressure right here. Actually, one of these stupid icons that I really hate a lot, to be honest, are these hammers. But essentially, this hammer is going to do a really, really great job because the price BTC, I'm expecting it to go up here to 109K and get rejected, hammered down, and then we're going to see another retrace back down. It's going to dash a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams, and it's going to cause a lot more pain. Now, if the price of BTC actually pierces and closes above resistance, I will be genuinely shocked. I will be, because we are heading into some of the most boring price action imaginable. July, August, September, the next 3 months are historically really, really choppy for BTC. So I'm not really expecting it to pump and go super duper high over the summer. There are only a couple of times where this really has happened over the last 15 years. So I think it's smart to play it safe right now. If you want to play the breakout, I wouldn't be buying here. I would be waiting for it to break above and then retrace back down like over here and then enter if you're going to take a long. But taking a long right here towards the top where you're getting closer to resistance, it's a little bit of a scarier play in my opinion. Now, looking at other metrics, the price is above the cloud. The slow line continues to slither on the ground sideways, no strong trend intact. The 4-hour is obviously above the cloud, but it is closing in on resistance at $108,952. On the weekly, yeah, the weekly looks great. Honestly, if Bitcoin would literally just not do anything and stay here, we would have a bullish engulfing candle on the weekly, which should be a really good sign of bullish continuation to come. It's not going to happen, but it would be great if that happened, right? Volume did exceed the moving average yesterday, but the trend is still down. Now, this could be the beginning of an uptrend. Again, there's a lot of if then, or rather, it's more like if this and this and this, then like scenarios right now. It's not terrible. It's not disastrous, but we are nearing resistance. Now, Ethereum and everything else really struggled yesterday. I have a sneaking suspicion that it's all Ethereum's fault. Now, it closed down just -1%, but it's really strange for it to do that, especially knowing that Bitcoin closed over 1%. So I don't know exactly what happened. I can't really find any news. Maybe you guys will inform me in the comments, which you often do, which I'm thankful for. But again, the reality with this chart, yes, it's above short-term overhead resistance, but the slow line continues to point down. The macro trend is still bearish. Yes, we have an RSI reset. We moved up a lot. 8% in a day is a big move. And bouncing back to touch confirmed, or rather, previously broken resistance now confirms it as support. It's a good sign. We just want to see more upside continuation. We lost a lot. Ethereum lost a lot of momentum back on last week's candle. And it really has to do a whole lot more to stay bullish. It really has to pump a lot more. And I don't see that coming. Now, one thing that is incredible is Bitcoin dominance. Now, this is probably the biggest culprit as to why the altcoin market fell yesterday. It actually shot up 0.67%. It remains strong bullish. And what I mean by that is anytime the price or the percentage or the market cap is above this cloud, these 1, 2, 3, 4 lines that comprise of the TBO indicator, this is what I call a strong bullish trend, especially the slow line pointing up. Now, we have a high just below 66%. This is on track to continue to go up above 66%. Zooming out to the weekly time frame, RSI is above 70, which means that we should expect the trend to remain strong bullish. The cloud itself is massively bullish. Yes, we're seeing slow signs that there is momentum waning on the daily time frame, but on the weekly, no, it's still strong. Again, just as a refresher, we have a group, or rather a cluster of, I can't really say cluster, doesn't make sense that way. We have TBO resistance here at 70% and here at 71%. I personally don't see Bitcoin going above these levels. My guess is that it will go up to about 70, which is another 7% increase, which if you can imagine how just like 0.5% affects alts, imagine 7%. I know that a lot of people are saying alt season, alt season, alt season. And a lot of other crypto YouTubers are making videos mocking their followers for not buying every single dip and mocking them for not buying more altcoins because altcoin season is just around the corner, just like it was here and here and here and here and here and here and here. And yet Bitcoin dominance continues to pump. The only real signal that it will be alt season is a major pullback like this. Back over here in early May, if you remember this, alts went crazy. There was a one-day drop on May 8th of 1.38%. And then the next couple of days after it dropped under 4%, this is when alts went absolutely bananas. If we go back even farther, similar story. Back over here, we saw a massive rally in November that lasted for about 17 days, but that's really short. We don't see any of those reversal signs forming yet. The only thing I see right now is this trend that's happening with RSI. And I already shared my reasons for this in the Better Traders Club write-up yesterday, or if not yesterday, the day before. But I'm just struggling to see an alt season happening. Doesn't mean we can't trade alts. There will always be outliers. But it's looking really, really rough still for altcoins. Yes, there will be days where things are just looking amazing. And one of the things that we want to pay attention to is when Bitcoin dominance is falling and stablecoin dominance is falling. Because when both of these two things are following together in tandem, that means that altcoins and altcoin dominance or OTHERS.D is going to be pumping like crazy. Okay? So the good news is that others dominance closing down is still a positive sign. The main thing that I am watching and waiting for is this slow line right here to start flattening out and then going down. And it's going to take so much price action or percentage action really to break this support level and keep going down in order for that to happen. And that's still a long ways off. Before I go any further, I just want to remind you guys, our courses, The Better Traders, are designed to teach you how to handle sideways chop, just like this. I closed a couple of positions in the green yesterday, just taking a couple of quick little trades that lasted like a day or so. And the reality is I actually have bots running all the time. This is a bot literally that just closed a position. I was hoping to show it in action for Sui, but it opened a position here 2 hours ago and it closed it within an hour. And then there's our 1% little win. That's amazing. And this happens all the time. Like literally, this just keeps chugging out profits over and over and over, even on a downtrend. So the courses that we have at The Better Trader, specifically 15 Minutes to Financial Freedom, this is the course that will help you understand automated, or rather bot trading concepts. It comes with one-on-one coaching. It comes with access to the TBO indicator through a 1-month subscription to the Better Traders Club. It also comes with free bot trading signals, the TBT signals, which you literally just saw here on all trading, and they continue to be amazing. Sui is actually in a really, really great bot trading pair, just so you know. Let's continue today looking at a couple of tickers. Some of these you asked for, some of these I'm actually going, you know, we really need to focus on these guys. So we don't have as many today. It's good. Less is more, trust me. Pi Network had a very weird day yesterday. Not only did it have an amazing close where everything else was dumping, it pumped about 23%, which is crazy, and volume was basically 3 times the moving average amount, or 3 times the average amount of volume, which is very wild. It's a really weird thing for it to do. We've seen this happen before back over here, and then it pumped last time. Now, this is one actually we talked about when it was pumping, and I told you guys, you can go back and watch the video. It pumped up here, and I said, guys, if this level breaks here, expect it to crash down to the 236, and that's it. And it did, and it actually fell a lot more. Now it's come back up to the 236. How do we handle charts like this? How do we trade them? Personally, I don't trade them at all. This is a very bearish looking chart. There's not enough volatility day to day to make it worth my while. I'm not interested in charts like this. But it is interesting to note that there is irregularly large volume for a chart that's been primarily super bearish. So keep an eye on it because we might see more increased volatility. If anything, I would much rather trade the pullback down here to about 54 cents and then trade the move back up if I were to touch this chart, which I'm not. Aptos had a really great day on Tuesday, if you remember this, up 14%. Yesterday, it closed red with a lot of other coins, but remember, on Tuesday, it printed a TBO Close short. This is my favorite reversal symbol. I'll include the video at the end of this one, just so you guys know what I'm talking about. But this is my favorite bullish reversal signal. Now, the next thing we do, as you know, if you've watched the video, is wait for the price to pull back to the TBO fast line at about 461. It didn't happen yesterday. The price of Aptos fell down to 463. And I think it could still, given the price action, I think it could still tag this level like 464, but that's an entry. So we can consider that an entry, and we look to take profit, at least partial profits here below TBO resistance, this red dotted line right here. But the main thing I'm really excited about for this chart is the lack of price-based volatility, but the massive increase in volume. Volume is one of the most overlooked indicators that far too many crypto TA, or crypto technical analysts and other influencers embarrassingly ignore, because volume tells a story. And you might be wondering, wait, why is this volume gray? Shouldn't it be red and green? The colors don't matter. I know there are some fancy ones that'll show you how much is buying, how much is selling. It doesn't matter. All that matters is there activity? Is there volume to support the price action? And when there's basically little to no price action after a pump like this and a lot of volume, this is showing that there's way more market participation right now. If we look at the volume, it's about 6 times the amount of volume, which is insane, especially given the fact that we closed red. So Aptos should experience more volatility. And again, the best part about this chart, aside from the volume, is that we are 1 and 2 days above this long-term overhead resistance level. We've been watching Aptos, I swear to you, since the beginning of May. It has been a brutal drawdown. And now it appears, dare I say, to be turning around. There's a lot of upside potential for this. Looking at the chart and its harmonics or its rhythm or its oscillation, even without the TBO, you can clearly see that it has a pattern of being down here at about $4, pumping, retracing down to $4, pumping, going down to $4, pumping, going down to about $4. So we're expecting the next harmonic, the next move, to be up here to about $11, at least. I think that's a reasonable target for this chart. It's not going to be up and to the right in a straight line, but a lot of people will get lost and they'll miss out. This is the beginning of the reversal move. Once we finally get an open long, then we're going to get TBO breakout clusters, which that last time helped us get a 51% move. We got breakout clusters over here after getting our closed shorts, about 32% higher, and we saw the price move up another 125%. So keep an eye on Aptos. Onyx Coin This one also printed a TBO close short yesterday. Now, admittedly, this is a little bit high for my liking, about 11% above support. But what happened just a couple of days ago that I told you guys about, TBT bullish divergence. And just like we had back over here, this is a nice setup for a pump. Now, we're not necessarily seeing a pump right now, but volume yesterday was good. Volume yesterday was almost 3 times the volume, more like 2 times the average volume. But look at how much it's increasing. That's a really positive sign for I almost said Aptos, Onyx coin. Now, just for a couple of reminders for charts that are bullish, but they're still oscillating a lot. Bitcoin Cash continues to give these really wild moves. Yesterday, it closed up 6%, but the fact that it retraced back down to the TBO fast line for our TBO springboard bounce, and it's moving up right basically up to resistance, which is the move. Like, that's incredible. So congrats, Bitcoin Cash. Caspa, this one has a TBT bullish divergence signal. This is a pro tier indicator that's available through the Better Traders Club pro tier subscription. Yesterday, it closed up 4%. It was not enough, though, to close inside of the cloud. But given the fact that I think it's starting to turn around and volume is outperforming the moving average, even if it's just a little bit, it's a lot better than what we saw, basically since the 19th of May, basically a month ago. So it's starting to turn around. It's showing some good signs that it could be reversing and continuing moving up to the top side. Say, this one had a pretty severe pullback yesterday. Now, volume did not exceed the previous days, but it's still amazing volume. Yesterday's volume, roughly 6 times the average. That's amazing. But unfortunately, it lost 8%. This does not discount the move, though. It's normal to have a big, fat move, 22% and then 25%. 47% in 2 days is massive. So having a pullback, don't worry about it. It's still above resistance. If anything, look at the price action. The price actually whipped down here into TBO support. Our low is 26.50, TBO support 26.44, literally just above it. Now, I'll tell you this. If the price does not bounce today, then we're going to see a sharper correction, probably down to about, I would guess, probably down here. It'll be a much steeper correction. But given the fact that we have price action over here giving us price-based support, even though we wicked below it, I think it makes more sense to see, say, bounce up from here to at least the 382 to see what's it going to do. Is it going to actually respect that level, or is it going to break it and drop a lot more? Either way, it's been a really great chart for trading, which I've been doing a lot of. Kaya, this one has also had quite the pullback, and it's interesting because I just told you this yesterday. I said the main thing to be careful of and cautious of is exactly one of the reasons why I sold more. When we see volume starting to fall down day over day over day, this is a warning sign. And yesterday's volume did not exceed the 30-day moving average. It's not a big deal because it's already done this before back on Tuesday, June 17th. And it could still pump. The reality is that it could still massively pump because it's still strong bullish. It's just having a pullback after a really great day. One of the other signs, and I really hate pointing this out because Japanese candlestick patterns are not reliable, in my opinion, especially for basically everything in crypto except for Bitcoin, is this doji. A doji is when you basically have no long body, which this is the long body, whether it's green or red, and you have an upper wick and a lower wick that are pretty long. This is basically telling us that there's no clear trend. There's a lot of indecision. The market can't decide if they want to buy it or they want to sell it. But again, if we zoom out, we can clearly see, man, this chart has had an incredible run. Now, the other thing to keep in mind with this chart is that a lot of people discount the fact that, okay, it's done. But you know what? It actually did this before, almost the same move. We saw it fall back, retrace, break the 382. A couple days later, shoots up to the 0.5. So we see a nice pump, kind of indecisive, pull back to the fib level. So we might still see a move up here to 22 cents. But the higher it goes, the longer it's going to take, in my opinion. And it's also losing a lot of volume. It's losing a lot of interest. It's fading. Chili's, baby back ribs. All right, this one had a TBT bullish divergence sign or signal on Monday, and it's slowly moving up. I know we have these TBO breakdowns, I'm still wondering if these are actually going to come to fruition. But to be honest, seeing an RSI reset, seeing this, feel like these guys have been invalidated. Now, the obvious thing that has to happen next for Chiliz is it needs to close inside of the daily TBO cloud, which is obviously strong bearish. But looking at this on the weekly time frame, seeing the fact that I know this is really, really weak observation, just so you know, because trust me, I was debating whether or not to include this. We have a low here at 2386, and we have a higher low. Seeing a higher low on RSI on the weekly time frame, while we are seeing, here, let me just do the comparison and take out the TBO. When we see this action happening, higher lows on RSI, and we're seeing lower lows on price, that's hidden bullish divergence, which is a good sign. Now, on the daily time frame, it has a lot of lost ground to make up. If we zoom out, Chiliz has fallen down a ton. Like, this chart is massively oversold. It does not make it a good buy by any means, because it could have been a good buy here, and it did make a rally of 200%, only to give all those profits away. Over here was a great buy. It rallied up 200%, and it gave it away. Went up, and it gave it away. The only thing that's worth considering with a chart like Chiliz is the fact that it has these patterns. We get these huge rips and dips, rip and a dip, rip and a dip. And we haven't seen a rip in a while. It could still continue to dip. Just so you know, there's no rule to this rip and dip that it has to be pumping anytime soon. But just keep that in mind. Another one is grass. Now, I'm a little bit embarrassed because I didn't hide this. I forgot about it. But this is a trade setup that I just shared. I'm actually hoping that grass will have a pullback here to about 118. But I do think that it has the potential, not the propensity, the potential, I had to fix that in my brain, to at least bounce from here. Now, one thing that's clear about this chart is the patterns. Again, we're talking a lot about patterns. Let me hide this just to make the point. Right here, you can see we have these big rips and dips, a rip and a dip, and we haven't seen a rip in a while. Now, when we do these trade setups, I rarely, if ever, look to find the Pico top. Like, if I were to measure out resistance like this to find the most optimal resistance level, I would want to try to extract as much value from it. I would want to take profit as close to $2.28 or something like this, $2.21. But honestly, it's not realistic. It's a lot easier to use the TBO to identify the fact that we have these stairs going down. There's one step and another step lower and another step lower. So using my eyes, like 227, 221, 216, right? Even here, 209. It's a great trade from here. Now, I'm not shooting for that. I'm shooting just for a quick little move. But I think that grass has some good price action happening. Now, I thought this was going to be a shorter video today. Obviously, I was completely wrong. I always have these ideas of how these videos are going to go before I film them. But the main thing is that there are way more insights, trade setups, market analysis, signals, alerts, all that fun stuff in the Better Traders Club. But before you go there, watch this video to learn why the TBO Close short is my favorite bullish reversal indicator. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.